It's October 14th, 2025. This is the Uncommon News Channel, kind of going live impromptu here. There is a lot of news to talk about, a lot of things that are really concerning. Um, Gold just went over $4,200 an ounce tonight. As I'm making this video, it's about 11 p.m. Mountain Time. Yeah, 11:13 Mountain Time. Silver is over $52 an ounce. There's backwardation in the market with silver, and from what I heard, uh, London is no longer delivering. Hey, Mindy, how you doing? Um, so there's a lot of volatility in the gold and silver market right now, and we're in a situation where the the short sellers are not able to find physical. They're not able to get it delivered. Right. They're able to make good on their promises, and so and nobody's got any silver to sell. so um, so I wanted to bring these things up to you guys and talk about the potential for a financial collapse very very soon. Um, Now, from what I understand, these stable coin, they're going to try to roll out the stable coin when the markets collapse. And the way I understand it is they have about they've rushed to get about $400 billion into the stable coins, and they've already got um, about $1 trillion worth of momentum in the stable coin system daily now. So there's $1 trillion worth of momentum in the stable coin systems every day. So they're getting this market online, and you're seeing digital IDs being rolled out really quick, right? JP Morgan just forced biometric ID on their employees. California just is getting ready to pass a digital ID or age verification thing online. Uh, UK is talking about biometric ID, and it just keeps going on and on. Um, and so, if the people that are holding shorts uh, are are getting squeezed, and the squeeze started today, from what I understand, the short squeeze started today. If they're not, in every situation you have winners and losers, right? And in this situation right now, the shorts are holding the bag. If they're not able to pay everybody that's going long, then we're losers too, right? Um, but last time this silver shot up, um, it went from, like, I remember in 2011, it went from, like, I remember buying an ounce for like $12, and that's how much I was buying them for, and it shot up to like 35, 40 in a couple days, and I just sold everything. Now that was like a fourfold increase from the norm, and silver's been hovering around 25, $30 for quite a while, like ever since then. If it does something similar now to what it did in 2011, it's going up at least to 100, at least. And nobody's able to get deliveries, so it might even go higher than that. In the 80s, it went up to like 6% the price of gold, so it hit like $50. So that would equate to, like, right now, that would be 40, 80, 160, 200, like 240. It'd be like $240 an ounce. Imagine that. And we're in a different situation now too, because AI is going to require silver. All the solar panels require silver. Electric vehicles require silver. Even Samsung's batteries, the batteries that they talked about last year, that requires silver as well. These were like some groundbreaking batteries that were going to reduce the weight of electric vehicles and speed up the charging time and increase the capacity of batteries. But that's a silver battery that Samsung developed. And so the industrial demand is there, and it seems like everybody's trying to get out of the dollar as well. So I think we're in for some rough waters ahead, because we're also seeing a lot of home prices starting to come down. I think I saw it was like in the double digits of price decreases in homes all across the United States, and in Florida was the worst. Florida had the largest amount of foreclosures this month. Home prices were dropping by like 20%, give or take 3%. And then in Texas, it was home prices dropped. It was like in the teens. They dropped by like 15-16% in Texas. Yeah, people are not able to afford the mortgages for the home prices these days. We saw on the Google Trends, the search term for help with mortgage is greater than what it was in right before the 2008 collapse. So right before 2008, there was a huge surge in people searching for help with mortgage. Well, it has exceeded that point right now, and the government shutdown's not gonna help that. Right, tomorrow, the 15th, tomorrow is when, like, I think 250,000 federal employees are supposed to get paid, and they probably won't get paid. And so this is a very serious situation that we're in. I think there's going to be a lot of people scrambling, trying to get on that lifeboat of gold or silver. But if the value of gold and silver goes up, but there's no one to buy it from you, then you lose too. I'm not saying this isn't financial advice. I'm not saying don't buy it. I mean I'm buying it, but think think carefully about what you're going to do. There was a report that came out by the IMF just the other day that said global debt. Now this isn't just like individual debt. This is individual debt, institutional debt, and government debt. So all debt combined is going to exceed global GDP by 2030. I want you to think about that for a second. We're 4 years and 3 months away from that. Global debt will exceed GDP. That's insane. That's insane. So, get out of debt as quickly as you can. It's just there's so many things that could push us over the edge right now. I just wanted to get on here and make this quick video. I mean, it was kind of impromptu. Appreciate you guys for coming in. Let me check the comments real quick. See who's in here. Mindy, good to see you. Watchman, Stan, good to see you. Arnold, good to see you. Tom, uh, has the illegal border crossing been ceased? Yeah, um, yeah. The border crossing has slowed down significantly. I can't say that it has ceased, but I can definitely tell you that it has slowed down significantly. Last I read, Maduro was actually trying to make give some concessions to Trump. He was actually trying to make an agreement with Trump. Believe it or not, Maduro sent sent some people up here to talk to them, talk to the White House about opening up the oil fields off the coast of Venezuela for American companies, and the gold mines and the gold mines. It's crazy. He Maduro was literally um, offering to bend the knee to Trump. They sent an envoy up here and said that they would cancel the contracts with Iran. They would cancel the contracts with China that they have, and they would allow American companies to come in, mine the gold, and pump the oil. And the Trump administration said no. They said no to that. So it seems personal. It seems personal. So we'll see where that goes. But no, Tom, to answer your question, no, I haven't seen any action down here at the border. Thanks for dropping in and thanks for your question, Arnold. Good to see you. Let's see. Watching Nike shoes. Hey, good to see you. Never seen you around here before. Um, let's see. What do you think about tungsten bars? Um, I mean, tungsten is a valuable material. It's I wouldn't buy it because you can scrap it real easily. You come across any kind of electronics that have tungsten in it, you can just stack it up that way. I wouldn't spend my money on stuff that I can scrap. But I don't scrap tungsten. Um, would it be something good to scrap and stack? Yeah, just like anything else, it's valuable. I you know I'm saving magnets anytime I come across um, a neodymium magnet from like a motor. Um, I'm keeping it. I take the motors out of dead power tools now. Um, and I also, nickel metal hydride batteries. The nickel metal hydride batteries have a lot of um, rare earth minerals in it. So even if it's dead, even if your lithium batteries are dead, even if your nickel metal hydride batteries are dead, you can set those aside. Maybe one day, if the economy crashes, the trade routes, or global trade halts, you know, there are ways to recover the rare earths from those magnets. So, you know, going out and finding broken alternators, motors, batteries, things like that. I currently do that. I stack those things up. Any kind of and here's something that most people don't think about, like any kind of processor or electronics that are easy to code, or like the coding language is simple to learn. I personally think that that's a valuable thing to stack up. So like the Zilog Z80, they stopped that. That's a processor. It's been around for a long time. It kind of like, from what I understand, the Zilog Z80 really it's the processor that started it all. Like home computing and everything. It's a small 8-bit 40 pin processor, and the coding language for it is easy. It's easy to understand. It's easy to learn, and so and they stopped making it last year. That processor was being made for like, I think it was like, was it 40 or 50 years? It was, I think it's safe to say it was the most successfully sold processor of all time, right? The Zilog Z80. Um, most of your first personal computers had that processor. Like that was what started it, and it's even in like your appliances, like your kitchen appliances and everything. But that's what powered the original Game Boy. That's what powered a lot of your Texas Instrument calculators and stuff. And so when I get electronics, if I see, and even, it's even in some like Nintendo cartridges, like game cartridges. So if I ever come across a Zilog Z80, I'll take it out and save it. And there's gold on the pins too, for some of them. So no, I think right now is definitely a time to start thinking about what is valuable that I can scrap. What is valuable that I can stack up, doesn't take up a lot of space. And motors from power tools, I think that's a good one. Alternators, that's a good one. Stack those up. Um, lithium batteries, they're dangerous. They can blow up, catch on fire and stuff. So, you might want to think twice about that. But nickel metal hydride has rare earths in it too. Every single nickel metal hydride battery has rare earths. Um, so there's a lot of stuff you can scrap, but aluminum prices are crazy right now. Silver's crazy. Copper's expected to go up again. I was just reading an article talking about the crunch on copper, the high demand for copper, the continued demand for copper, and in the low, like the supply is not there for the expected future demand. And so the new baseline, the base floor for silver is 10,000. It's $10,000 a, was that like a ton or whatever. So or a kiloton or a ton, I don't know. I think it's a kiloton. But um, yeah, things are going out of control. I also saw an article on Zero Hedge that showed all of the nations with the highest increase in food prices, and believe it or not, North America was up there as like the second highest. Same with Europe. So our purchasing power is dwindling, and that's one of the explanations as to why the value of gold and silver has gone up so much. And with the backwardation of silver right now, and the short squeeze on silver, like, it's really concerning to me, because this is coming during a government shutdown, right? When like 250,000 people that are expecting their paychecks tomorrow most likely won't be getting their paycheck. Now, Trump did say that he found some account in the Pentagon that had enough money to pay everybody, but this is like scrambling. The federal government is scrambling to come up with cash. So, anyways, let me see. So, anyways, to answer your question about tungsten bars, there you go, Watchman. Um, 2018 silver was $20 an ounce. Yeah, I remember when it was hovering around 20. I bought it up. Um, Most people, Doug, are paycheck to paycheck. They can't even stock up that extra. Yeah, that's true. As everyone is scrambling around looking for gold and silver, the USD is losing its importance, and the economic crash is inevitable. That's what it seems like, Arnold. Farmers have not been paid for their crops sent for export. Yeah, yeah, it's getting wild. Everybody's moving on to different markets. Everybody's moving in different markets. Um, we're getting into chaotic times. You better have fuel and food. That's right, Watchman. Privatized gains and socialized losses. Isn't that the way it is, SM? Isn't that the way it is? They may actually bring fuel prices down to try to calm people. It's one of their psychological avenues. Well, Watchmen, uh, I was reading an article today uh, that was talking about the price of oil being $60, and it's at the break even point for American producers. So they're not profiting off of it at that price. And if the Middle Eastern countries, if Iran, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, um, if they and Russia, if they continue to increase production like they are, and they've got projects in the works to drill new wells and bring new fields online. Algeria just got, or Albania, it was Albania, I think, just got I think it was a $5 billion investment from Saudi Arabia to get some of their oil fields online. Egypt invested, I think it was $250 million to get some of their oil fields online right off their coast. Nigeria is investing to get some of their oil fields offline, or online, I mean. And then we've got a bunch of oil fields that are getting ready to come online, um, like off the coast of Trinidad and uh, Suriname and Guyana. So there are these new fields, these new oil fields that are coming online, and they're all going to be undercutting um, our production rate here, or our um, break even point here. So if it goes any lower than it currently is, it's going to hurt our industry. We need to be able to make money on our oil, and if they keep producing more and more, then at a lower price, then you know they're gonna put us out of business, at least for the short term. But yeah, it's not looking good. Um, and on top of all of that, with all of these AI data center projects that they got going online, the price of energy is just skyrocketing for American homes. I was seeing, like, in Pennsylvania. Now, this is crazy because Pennsylvania is a net exporter of energy, but their energy prices are higher, have increased on a higher percent. They've increased by 45% this year. Is increased at a high. They're paying more for their energy in Pennsylvania than Virginia is, than I think Maryland is, or some parts in Maryland. But they're the ones that export the energy. Doesn't make sense to me. But anyways, 45% increase in your energy bill. It's insane. And then they've got all these smart meters on houses now, all these the smart meters for your electricity, smart meters for your water, and everybody has been reporting major increases in their home prices. Things are in their energy and water prices. Things are not looking good. They're squeezing us as much as they can, and then to top it off, all of the adjusters out here, all the tax adjusters out here, they overvalue your property so that you pay more property tax. But what I noticed here in El Paso is that every year when they revalue the home prices, They only focus on the residential properties. I have seen the commercial properties year after year after year after year remain at the same value, but the home prices go up and up and up and up and up. I'm sorry, but you cannot tell me that a residential property is worth the same as a commercial property that is on a half an acre. That's BS. If I go down to Mesa or to Executive Street and I offer someone the same price for their commercial property as the value of my home, they're going to laugh at me. They're going to be like, yeah, right. But when you look at the valuations on the CID website, on the central or the CAD website, the Central Appraisal District's website, it's the same. It's ridiculous. They're only squeezing the residential units. They're only raising the price or the value of the residential units to tax us into oblivion. So it all seems like it's by design to me. And with Howard Lutnick at the helm, is economic advisor of Trump's economic advisor, right? You can see where it's going, right? This guy's bank is is positioned to benefit from this whole stable coin scam um, that they got going on. And what they want to do is that when everything collapses, when the market collapses, the value of the dollar goes to nothing, and they get everybody to try to get onto this stable coin system. What he has said he wants to do is get all of the physical assets. So your house title, your car title, the value of your land, the value of the assets that you have, whatever you have insurance for, whether it's jewelry or whatever, all of that stuff is digitized. There's a value put on it, and it's added to the blockchain system, right? This is the technocrats' dream, right? I don't know if you guys heard of the technocrats from I think they were in the 30s. They were, there was like a technocrat party in the United States. They want to they want to have a physical accounting. They want to have an accounting of every single thing on the earth, every single tree, every single blade of grass, everything, and then put it on their ledger and trade in it. And so that's what this is. Make no mistake about it. That's precisely what this is. It's the technocrat dream coming to reality. We are on the cusp of that, and the thing that needs to happen for their system to go online is that this system needs to come offline. It needs to crash. And I'm concerned that this silver short squeeze and the government shutdown is going to be that first domino to kick it off. Could be wrong, but I'm obviously making this video. I'm making this live stream to get you guys to start thinking about it. So I do think it's important to have a lifeboat, so to speak, a little bit of gold and silver, but if there's no more money left to buy the gold and silver from you when the price valuation skyrockets, then what good is it, right? Because at that point, everybody's going to be scrambling for bread and fuel. So this is my thoughts, but I mean, don't take advice from me. I'm not a financial advisor. So Let's see, Arnold Schmidt. The food is rotting on the docks because of the tariffs. Farmers are losing their farms, equipment, and livestock. Yep, yep. It is insane. There's the Farmageddon has begun, and that's quite literal. Um, Wood tariffs and China trade war all in. Yep. Qatar is acting like the air base is going to be theirs in Idaho. Well, Watchmen, I think it probably will be theirs. Um, yeah, yeah, but it's interesting how there's been such a shift now. Like Pakistan is even offering the United States a naval base there, so that we can. They want us to build a railroad from their port up into where their rare earths are in Pakistan, and that they want us to help them develop their mines. So, I mean, that would be good for our economy if a major nation like Pakistan decides to continue doing business with us. So that's a good outlook. But they're not exactly, our best interest is not exactly uh, in the forefront of their minds. So what do I mean by that? I don't trust them at all. I do. I don't. I'm sorry. I don't trust any of the Islamic nations. They're not out to be your friends. They're out to dominate every single one of them. So that's the way I see it. So it could be good for us in the short term, but um, I wouldn't want to help them out, honestly. Um, Something big is going to bust. Yeah, that's the way I feel right now, Tom. And that's exactly why I'm on here. Is Cobalt from Lowe's going to be worth anything? Cobalt, yeah. I mean, yeah, I do think this. With the rare earth being halted from China, I think there's like 17 different minerals that China is no longer shipping out to the United States. My expectation is that you will see the price of these that will affect us, right, and the military. Let me you will see the price of batteries explode. You will see the price of anything with an electric motor explode. So all of your power tools, if there was ever a power tool that you wanted to get, I would recommend you get it now. Um, I think the price of the power tools is going to skyrocket. The price of anything with a lithium battery or a nickel metal hydride battery, those are going to skyrocket. Computers are going to go up. Cell phones are going to go up. And the most important defense thing that's gonna go up in value will be drones. Drones need lightweight batteries, which require rare earths. They need very powerful motors that require rare earths. And so when it comes to sixth generational warfare, so like Terminator type stuff, like drone warfare type stuff, the United States has already lost. Um, China will win in sixth generation in the Terminator scenario. They have all of the rare earths that is needed for that kind of stuff. They will outnumber whatever we have by by a significant margin. That's not to say that we can't, you know, disrupt their ability to put all that stuff together. We can, um, but the question is, will we, and will we do it soon enough? And so that's what all those big wigs get paid the big bucks to, you know, decide. But everything is coming to a head pretty quickly. Um, so yes, your cobalt drill is going to be, you know, whatever it's worth now. If these trade restrictions continue, um, it's going to be worth a lot more than it is today. I can tell you that. Going catalytic converter collecting tonight. Don't do that, SM. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't collect catalytic converters. I didn't see anything. That's not a good thing to do, SM. No. Um, so Watchmen agree. Not a good thing in Idaho. Yeah, no, no. I hope some patriots go up there, and I'll just. I'm not gonna say anything. I think. I think because I, I understand a little bit about their culture. I have a feeling that they're gonna try to take advantage of women here, and it's not going to go well. I don't think it's going to go well. They they should really try hard to like just stay on their base and not really venture out. Uh, I'll just put it that way. I'll just put it that way because it's not just the adult women that they, you know, that they pursue. So I'll just leave it at that. I'll just leave it at that. I think they might get run out pretty quick if they, you know, if they do what everybody knows their neighbors do, marrying young underage women. I'll just leave it at that. Mindy, try a couple grilled cheese sandwiches on there. What are you talking about? Grilled cheese sandwiches? What did I miss? Someone stole my work van catalytic converter right out of our parking lot. Oh gosh, man, that's crazy. Yeah, people are. I mean, when I was working security for the power companies here, copper cable went missing all the time, and it's so bad in the border region. They have to write on the spools of fiber optic cable. They write on the big giant spools. They say not copper. They literally spray paint on there in white letters, not copper. Please don't steal. It's too much, man. Oh, it's too much. But hey, people got to do what they got to do for money, and they're getting times are getting tough. Tried a couple grilled cheese sandwiches. I don't understand. What is he talking about? Grilled cheese sandwiches. Anyways, I'll have to overlook that one. Everything comes from China. Rare earths. We're gonna be screwed. Yeah. Well, we could open up some mines. We do have rare earths here. Um, I know of a few spots in New Mexico that have rare earths. I have some old I have some old maps that I got from an estate sale. A prominent political figure here passed away recently. I went to his estate sale, and he had Army Corps of Engineer maps from like the 50s and 60s. They're these really nice maps, and it shows where all of the minerals are and everything. So I really value those maps. They're literally treasure maps from the Army Corps of Engineers. So, it shows where all the minerals are and everything. So it's pretty neat. But New Mexico has a lot of minerals. It's sad because New Mexico is like one of the poorest states in the union too. And if they would just open up the mines to the public, or open up the resources to the public, then they wouldn't be so poor. But you've got companies from Australia that are going into New Mexico to mine stuff. That's outrageous to me. It's asinine. Why won't they let somebody from New Mexico mine all that stuff? I It blows my mind and that's actually what's happening. There's a company, a mining company from Australia that's going to be benefiting from the natural resources in New Mexico. That's too much for me to accept. I can't accept that. So Trump also said some rich friend is going to pay the military. Is that right? Wow. Well, if that rich friend of his pays the military, then what does that mean for the taxpayer? Is the taxpayer then going to have to start making payment to his rich friends? I don't exactly want that scenario to take place. I didn't read that in today's news, but I believe you, Mindy. I believe you. Everything comes from okay. So crackhead economy. Trump also says okay. So Trump fit in all. Trump fit it. Trump fit it all in as the Cyrus. Oh, you think he's Cyrus too? Could be. I'm not going to argue with you there. When they say peace, peace, then sudden destruction shall come upon the earth. In 1 hour, Babylon will be laid waste. Yes, it will, Arnold. Yes, it will. We're going to see who Babylon is. We will see. Watchman, Isaiah 47:7. You said, I will continue forever, the eternal queen, but you did not consider these things or reflect on what might happen. That's right. Okay, so Cool Hand Fluke, it's the haves versus the have-nots. The infighting among the middle class must end. I agree, Cool Hand. I really wish I really wish we were able to come together, but it started to happen when I remember during Occupy Wall Street. Uh, the left and the right were really starting to come together, and then there was like major efforts to divide us, and it worked, after that you saw all of this like massive like LGBTQ psyop thing going on, trying to divide everybody on those types of issues, and you saw algorithms on Facebook. I remember I used to be on Facebook. I mean, I still have an account on Facebook, but I never go on there anymore. Facebook used to be when you would just scroll and see what your friends were posting, your family and your friends, what were your family and your friends doing. But there was a point in time where Facebook initiated some kind of algorithm, and they were really promoting like extremely divisive content, and it was obvious to someone that like has a reflective mind, like someone that reflects on everything they see. you know those type of algorithms and content displays, like you see those things as you scroll through the feed and you question, why are they showing this to me? What is it that they want to accomplish by continually showing me videos of you know bad cops doing bad things, or one race of people doing something to another race of people? Why? Because Facebook wasn't always like that. um it used to literally just be, you scroll, you might see an advertisement every once in a while, and that's okay. You see an advertisement, go on vacation to the Bahamas, discount now, blah blah blah, whatever. But then as it progressed, as the years went on, it's just nothing but content to try to get you to hate cops, content to try to get you to hate the other or opposite race. And it was obvious, it was blatantly obvious that they would do it. It was a psychological experiment or something that they were doing. And so I just got off. I got off Facebook. I said, to hell with this. I'm not a guinea pig for them. So, but you're right, Cool Hand Fluke. I really do wish that we could come together and just, move on. I think we need a new convention. I think a new convention needs to happen to reiterate the Constitution and to. I honestly think the federal government needs to be dissolved. I think the states need to agree to dissolve the federal government, to take all the assets that are in their states, to take those assets upon themselves, and then to reform the union, but still with the Constitution as the union itself. No changes to the Constitution, but I personally believe that the entirety of the federal government needs to be dissolved. Um, they have acted counter to their fiduciary responsibility to the American public, right? They have not acted in our interest, I'll just leave it. And it's blatantly obvious. It's blatantly obvious. They've acted in special interest, not the people's interest. So, but I'll just leave it at that. But yes, we do need to unite, and I really hope that we can, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. When DJT administration gets squeezed so hard, he will be looking strong. Trump will be looking hard at Canada, especially Alberta and Saskatchewan. Oh, you think Trump is going to go for the resources up there? I mean, there's a lot of resources in Canada, so he might. He might. I wouldn't say that he won't, because you never know. There's going to be some sort of huge repercussions in the housing markets, and the banks will own all the homes. Yeah, Watchman, I think you could be right. I think the housing market bubble is getting ready to pop. I mean, we're starting to see a lot of home prices start to come way down. Like 20% in some markets, and still nobody's really buying. So yeah, you could be right about that. And a lot of people are unemployed, and AI is going to disrupt the employment. I think like last week I read an article from the IMF saying that um, uh, developed economies like the United States, it's expected that AI will take 60% of the jobs. So 60% of our jobs are potentially threatened by AI assuming those roles. So imagine 60% of the workforce getting laid off and replaced with AI. That's why, like, you drive through the restaurants now, you're hearing AI at the, you know, when you order, it's AI taking your order. It's too much for me. I can't do it. I sit there, I'll scream at the thing. Give me a real person. I don't even use the self checkout. I won't do it. I won't do it. So it's gonna get wild. We were made for a time like this, weren't we? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Um, People are now just slaves to the society. Banks will own the homes and rent them out at high dollars. Well, Mindy, the way I understand it, eventually they will, yes, but at first, you're gonna the value of your house is gonna be transferred into like stable coins or Bitcoin or whatever, and then that account will be given to you to spend, right? So you're just going to live off of those stable coins, and then once they're spent up, they're spent up, and it's just those stablecoin banks that own assets. Those major banks will be the ones that own all the assets at that point. That's how the assets will be transferred to them. And yes, they will rent to you. Yeah, they will rent your own house to you. And it's kind of the situation we're already in right now. So on a good note, though, Florida is getting ready to um, get rid of vaccine mandates for school kid for kids for all public schools. So yay, one win. Had all these crazy things going on. This is why DJT is heading to Venezuela to remove the druggies and take oil and energy stability in a wartime footing. Well, Arnold, I think it's a little bit more in depth than that, because you've got Iran that built the oil rigs off of the coast of Venezuela. They're operating there in Venezuela. They've got their Gautier submarines there operating off the coast of Venezuela. It's assumed that Iran has given Venezuela, at the very least, some Shahed drones, which have a very long range, that allows Venezuela to actually reach out and touch us. So, the fact that they're running drugs or helping the cartels dig tunnels or facilitating the flow of fentanyl, whether the fentanyl thing is true or not, I mean, I can't verify. Federal government says it is. Um, I don't doubt it, but Iran is there. Iran is in Venezuela. They have the ability with their submarines to surface and to launch Shahed drones at us. They could take out any of our oil infrastructure along the coast. They could take out our refineries. They could take out the pipelines. They could take out the oil rigs. They could take out the tanks, the tankers, so the boats that transport the oil. Um, they could seriously wreak havoc on us with just a few of their submarines and a few of their Shahed drones. And then if they gave any hypersonic missiles to Venezuela, then yeah, that's a big deal, because we can't intercept those hypersonics. At least, publicly, we haven't publicly released that we have the ability to intercept hypersonics. So, but Iran's hypersonics aren't exactly like 100% hypersonic. They're only hypersonic for like a short amount of time. Once the missiles get to within a couple miles of their destination, then it launches in hypersonic mode. So they could be intercepted, farther out, if we were able to, catch them in time. But either way, I do think it's about the oil, Arnold, but I don't think it's just the oil. I think it's also because Iran is there. And Iran, in my opinion, really does pose a threat to us. They do have sleeper cells here. They've bragged about being able to target our, critical transformers and substations all across the United States. So they are a serious threat. So, I take them seriously. I personally take them seriously. And I believe what they say they're going to do. Stan, no back flipping today. Jonathan Rivera, no back flipping today. What do you mean back flipping? You want me to do a backflip? Who's back? Who's back flipping? um, I can do a double backflip, but if I show it to you, you might get offended. Stock market is definitely fake. No, LOL. You will own nothing and be happy. Home prices up means more money for the tax man. Yeah, that's right. That's they're sucking excess money out of the average Joe. They always are. Yep. 15-minute smart cities. Yep. Even the businesses are following suit, being filled with greed. Yep. Residential have people living in them, while commercial real estate have no one to tax. Yeah. Yep. Greedy politicians join their own garden, so to speak. Straight kitten. They did that in Israel ages ago. Tax them, tree and property. Uh, promo CD like 4%. I remember when saving accounts got more than that. Yeah, Tom Weary. When I was a kid, I used to hear about CD accounts pushing 5. It was rare, but I heard some people could get into CDs that were 5%. I don't know what they are now. But even then, even then, 4 or 5% is still like barely keeping up with inflation. Goldman Sachs is selling literal shit as fertilizer to our farmers for cheap here in Virginia. They're spreading sludge in Maryland on our farms. Yeah, yeah, it's crazy, Mindy. The type of what do they call that? What was the green sludge in that film? It was oh gosh, I can't remember the name. It was like they were feeding people to it was, Soylent Green. We're going to be eating Soylent Green. There are literally um, in some states now they're allowed to use human remains as fertilizer. So the whole Soylent Green thing is actually it's like real now. It's real. It's real. They're growing corn with fertilizer made from dead people. Uh, GMO corn with oh with dead people as fertilizer. Give me a break, man. That's what we come to. Got to give the land a rest every 6 years. Gosh, uh, Idaho is not a safe space. 288 characters. EAM new codes being transmitted. Things are not going to get better in the world. Yeah, I that's right, Arnold. That's right. What about Cuban cigars? What about them? Cuban cigars are actually pretty good. I've had one. I was in Tampa for a while, so I've seen the Cubans there rolling cigars, and yeah, they're nice. I actually like a good cigar every once in a while. Prescription drugs increase in lack of funding for insurance. People will be falling. So the new currency is going to be batteries. Well, I'm not saying the new currency is going to be batteries, but if the trajectory of things continue on the way that it is, with government shutdowns happening, AI taking 60% of the jobs here, um, we're going to need to find ways to make money, and scrapping those um, hard to get materials might be a decent source of revenue for people that are falling on hard times. I think the value of the rare earths is definitely going up. I mean, you see that with the stock valuations of these mining companies that are mining, yttrium and neodymium and nickel and cobalt and all these other things. So yeah, the value of those materials is going up, and so like as a prospect for just you know increasing your wealth or kind of setting these things aside uh, for hard times, I think it's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea to start thinking about, you know, holding on to electric motors or salvaging electric motors or speaker batteries or I mean speaker uh, magnets. I'm sorry, speaker magnets, alternators, um, rechargeable batteries. Um, processors, all kinds of things like that are, you know, I think it's good to salvage that kind of stuff. You can make money off of it. Even the aluminum skyrocketed in price. So it's just another way to make money. It's the way I see it. Power tools require electricity to operate. Hand tools won't let you down. Yeah, that's true, Arnold. But I have my little Jackery with solar power with solar panel, and that by itself is like for my power tools and just a couple other like rechargeable batteries for my radios and battery powered lamps and whatnot. So that's everybody's prepping in a different way, but for me, my my electric power tools, cordless power tools, uh, are a prepping item, and so I got a small solar panel and a Jackery, basically just for my power tools so that I can keep those things operational. Because I want to be able to build stuff. I want to be able to tear stuff down and build stuff up. You know, I want to be able to use my angle grinder. I want to be able to, you never know what you might need to cut down with an angle grinder. Angle grinder can do a lot of work if you got the right blades. Sawzall, a reciprocating saw can do a lot of work. You have a couple extra spare batteries if you need to do a lot of work quickly. There's a heavy rainstorm. You don't have gasoline, but you have solar powered battery and a reciprocating saw. You can cut a few branches, maybe even a somewhat decent sized tree that fall across the road, or block. You can get some work done with battery powered with cordless power tools. So that's part of my prepping plan, Arnold. But I agree with you. Yes, hand tools for the long term, like long term. Yeah, hand tools are the best. Non-electric hand tools are the best, and I have plenty of those. So we need to learn using herbs and minerals for our health issues. Yeah, Mindy, you do need to learn about using herbs and minerals. If you haven't already figured that kind of stuff out, you need to get on it right now, because supply chains are already seeing a crunch with critical meds and stuff. We don't make any of that here. Most of that comes from India, and so that could be the next thing that's halted. Imagine that. Um, imagine they release a bird flu looks like it might be the next one. Imagine they release a bird flu and there's no meds for it. The guy that took Fauci's spot, Dr. like Lindenberger or something. I can't remember his name. It's something Burger. He's the same guy that he's the guy that dug people up that died from the Spanish flu, right? Um he revived the Spanish flu, and so he ended up developing a vaccine for a weaponized flu that the NIAID is now like working on. They're doing gain of function on the flu that he made a vaccine for. So if this flu gets out and they use his vaccine for it, he stands to benefit financially from that happening. They're literally working on this flu right now, NIAID, that he created a vaccine for. So imagine if that gets out and everybody's laid off. Nobody's got work. Nobody can afford to go to the hospital. Nobody's got insurance because they're laid off of work. What's going to happen then? What's going to happen then? India isn't sending over any Tamiflu or whatever. Man, it's just not. It's just not looking good. More EAM messages coming over the HF band. I got to look into that, Arnold. I'm reading my RSS feed every day. It's like 300. I mean, it's over like 300 articles every day that I go over. It's just insane. So for me to try to keep up with the EAM messages, it's just too much. But I was literally getting ready to go to sleep, and then the last thing I checked was the price of gold. The price of gold is over 4,200 now. It jumped $100 in a single day. That's crazy. It's crazy. It's nuts. So people are scrambling. They are scrambling for physical assets. It's not looking good, man. Also with the superbugs, antibiotics are very important. That's right, Watchmen. As far as natural antibiotics, I'm going to throw this out there. You guys do your own research. Best one that I know of is white thyme. White thyme, and then oregano is the oil of oregano, and then clove buds, and garlic. So those four. Oh, and cilantro. Those did I already? No, I said oregano. Yeah, those are some of the best, most potent natural antibiotics that you can get. So I'll say them again. It's clove, white thyme. Regular thyme is fine. White thyme is the best. Thyme, oregano, cilantro, garlic. Garlic is probably the easiest to remember. Garlic is Russian antibiotics. It's a really good one. So, anyways, let's see, Mindy, for early stages. Let's see. Beware of the locals. Sasquatch. I'm not sure what you mean there. Greg Brothers slowly but surely getting his place in order. Yeah, he is. I saw his squash gardens coming together. That's for sure. Tailings from a lot of abandoned mines are loaded with rare earths, and it's right on top, all ready to be harvested. That's right, Tom. That's right. I heard that extraction of rare earth minerals causes a lot of pollution. It sure does. Yeah, it sure does. But, if you want your modern amenities, you want your air conditioning, your refrigerator, your microwave, your computer, your smartphone, anything that uses a battery unfortunately requires that sacrifice there. No, it's not good for the environment at all, but it's going to come to a head once they find out that the delivery of silver is not going to happen, and the delivery of all these other rare earths is not going to happen. I think people are going to scramble to sell. They're going to try to sell everything that they can. They're going to liquidate and try to get into cash, just like JP Morgan has. JP Morgan decided to withdraw so much cash from the stock market. Now they are sitting on, I think it was near $450 billion in cash. $450 billion in cash. And then they just made their employees get biometric IDs if they want to keep coming to work. Work at JP Morgan. If you want to keep working there, biometric ID. Yeah, that's where we're going. We're there. And we're going to be on his blockchain. We're going to be on Jamie Dimon, JP Morgan, stable coins. Going to be using their stable coins. There's $400 billion of stable coins out there. And they're it's transacting $1 trillion worth of transactions every day on that market already. So it's up and running. You might not be using it, but it's being used. So it's here. It's begun. It has started, and they're going to want like DNA verification for you to use it. So here we go, guys. Here we go. Download my preppers guides. They're free on archive.org. I have a barter ledger on there. You can print it out for free. You can use that barter ledger to trade with your neighbors and your peers. When this all comes to a head, they try to force you on their blockchain. Just a regular notebook piece of paper. Just keep track of who owes who what. Put your, get an ink pad with your thumbprint, put the thumbprint on the transaction details of each person. And then when that transaction has been completed, such and so has given you something for the promise that you will provide service in the future. Once you provide that service in the future, that ledger gets crossed out or gets handed over to the other person so they can burn it or whatever. Learn how a barter ledger works, because it's something that has been it had been around forever until recently. It's something that's not done anymore. I mean, even in the 1800s, when people moved out west, they didn't have any money. They bartered with each other. They used barter ledgers. So, it's just a notebook. Just get a notebook, figure out how to set up your barter ledger, get that going. If you want to get an easy example of a barter ledger, go to archive.org, go to the second search bar. There's two search bars there. There's a top one, but the one below that, there's a second search bar on that webpage. Type in Uncommon News 777. You go through all of the stuff that I put on there. Look for the barter ledger. Download it. Print it out. It's a very simple example of what a barter ledger should look like. Very simple one, and it's got a little key down there at the bottom to explain some things for you. But we're pushing in an hour on here, so I'm gonna have to get off soon. So many cities having the No Kings ride on the 18th, I think. Yep, stay tuned, Watchmen. I might be going live here if they have one. So yeah, I do plan on going out there and checking that out. So Trump said it was covered, but showing vacation in Beirut. You're not wrong, Doug. It's not going to be pretty. That's right. They never let go. Babylon is all the nations adopted to the customs of Babylon. It all refers to money, building cities to reach into the heavens. America's like the Western countries. When one economy fails, they all go. That's right. And then war is on the horizon. AI is now taking your orders at the restaurant drive-in. Yeah. Don't want a unstable coin. I don't either. Yeah, but they can't take out your garage on Thursday. I don't understand, Arnold, but okay. Soylent Green, yeah, that's what it was. Radioactive shrimp, scraping scrapping his thin because everybody started doing it. All because they legalized abortion, value of human life equal to a mosquito. Innocent children are now a pest and saleable body parts. Yeah, that's right, Arnold. It is sick. It's sick and twisted. It's a sad world. Did you see where Z from China told Putin that you can literally live longer because of organ transplants? Yeah. I know I didn't see that, but I believe it. Yeah, that's what all they all do. Yeah. Um, okay, good night. And you hit that head, hit that on the head. Next one they release. Yeah, Tom Weary. Um, I think it is going to be the flu. I hope it's not, but it wouldn't surprise me at all. Georgia Guidestones tell everything they're planning. But yeah, that's right. That's probably why they had to blow it up, Arnold, because people were getting wise to what was stated on there. Um, time for Fight Club. Problem is, we're funding our own demise. Uh, that's right, Tom. We are funding our own demise. It's funny you say that because, well, really, it's not funny, but yeah, all of our tax dollars go into these GMOs that are funding, revolutionaries to burn our cities down. And I guess we'll find out on the 18th if they're successful or not, won't we? But this is all, we all saw this coming. Looking back on the last like 25 years of the internet, basically everything that's happening today is really what we've been talking about and warning about for literally 25 years. It has happened almost to a T. I mean, I can't tell you how many people there have come and gone on YouTube, and many of them kicked off, never came back. Some of them still there, but throttled. Have been talking about all of the things that were going to happen. It really comes down to prophecy. I mean, everybody's talk about, you know, digital ID, um, you know, destroying the economy, um, job automation, taking uh, jobs being automated, uh, socializing everything. Now we got uh, universal basic income is actually like a legitimate thing to talk about now. It's just we're there. I think we've reached the point where every conspiracy theorist that was ever out there talking about anything that resembles a semblance of possibility has like been proven right now. It's just, I mean, I was even like 5 years ago, I was talking about how the immigration was going to be used as a catalyst to usher in real ID in the United States, and that we would come to a head with Venezuela and Iran at our southern border, at our doorstep. I mean, I was predicting that stuff 5 years ago, and I remember Dabu. I remember Dabu like 10 years ago talking about Bitcoin being used to uh, as the mark of the beast system, as the ledger being part of the mark of the beast system. He was talking about how the hash was created by the NSA. Um, and that was like 10 years ago. And he was talking about everybody's having to get a digital ID and forced onto it by destroying the economy. So, back then that was like big conspiracy. It's like, man, you crazy, you're out of your mind. Now it's like, here we go, stable coins, right? Everybody's, all these big markets are using stable coins now, which is backed by treasury bonds and Bitcoin. And then they also want to put your physical assets on the ledger and issue a coin from that. Give it a value, give your house a value, a coin value, and put it on um, the ledger. So, he wasn't wrong. He wasn't wrong. He was right. Uh, I mean, and even Alex Jones is crazy. Uh, he's been spot on about so much. And they kicked him off. He's still that YouTube just allowed so many people back on. Even James Corbett of Corbett Report got let back on. But not Alex Jones. Not Alex Jones. So anyways, but yeah, everything is coming to a head. We're funding our own demise. He's just waiting for the economic bloodbath. Yep, they're all getting ready in their bunkers, but it's funny. Even the Bible talks about all of the kings going underground and telling the mountains to fall on them. They say, "Fall on us, fall on us, uh, protect us from the wrath of the Lamb." But it's not going to protect them at all. God's Spirit is everywhere. There's nowhere you can run, and there's nowhere that you can hide from the Spirit of God. If you try to hide under the mountains, he will shake the ground. So, nothing you can do. There's nothing AI can do to stop God. There's nothing any of them can do to stop God. He laughs at our most advanced and sophisticated weapons. What can they do to some to God? God is outside of our physical realm and inside our physical. He created the physical realm. He's not even bound by space or time itself. So, you know, beat that. Beat that. Um, but if you believe in prophecy, then you know what's going to happen. Mark of the Beast is going to be rolled out. Um, some of you believe you're going to be raptured before the mark of the beast. I don't read it that way. There's an angel that's sent out and says, "Here is the patience of the saints." Right? The patience of the saints is displayed by our rejection of the mark. Our patience is on display, and it is witnessed because we reject the mark. Right? If we're raptured before the mark, then our patience can't be displayed, and whatever that angel is talking about is pointless, right? And then some people say, "Oh, well, the Jews are the saints." No, they're not. Only someone that believes in Jesus Christ as the Son of God, the Messiah, our risen Savior. You profess that he is the Messiah, that he was crucified, buried, and rose again from the grave 3 days later, you're a saint. Okay. So no. But anyways, um, so you believe in prophecy, you already know what's going to happen, right? The mark of the beast is going to go out. We're going to have to resist it. This is the reason why I created that barter ledgers, to help you resist it. It's just a piece of paper. You just print it out. It's totally free. You can make copies later if you need to. Just print one out, make copies later, hand them out. Because you're going to need to keep track of, exchanges somehow. If other people don't have items to barter with, gold, silver, wheat, rice, whatever, then you're gonna need a way to put everything on a ledger and keep track of it. And then once the transaction is completed, you need a way to finalize it, to scratch that off, to say the transaction is complete. So you cut it out of the ledger, or you cross it out, mark it out, something. Um, so start thinking about that. You believe in prophecy, you're going to have to prepare for that kind of stuff. Um, and then there's a lot of other, things that, now, whether you're a pre-wrath, believe in pre-wrath, rapture, post-trib, pre-trib, I don't know. There's a lot of turmoil that we have to prepare for. I'll just put it that way. So prepare for it. Anyways, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. I tried to touch on as much as I could. I'm sure I forgot about quite a bit. There was a lot I wanted to talk about, but I have a feeling tomorrow morning is going to be pretty crazy. Um, a lot of people are expecting to get paid. They might not get paid. So um, Thursday, there's a is a Federal Reserve meeting. They're going to decide whether or not they're going to increase or decrease the interest rates. Uh, so, anyways, uh, a lot of tumultuous possibilities coming very soon, very soon. So, keep your head on a swivel. Um, Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up on your way out. Share with your family and friends. And as always, don't forget, help out your neighbors. Bye.